prayed, hard, desperate, sincere, and nothing happened. The door didn't open. The healing didn't come. The silence stayed. And slowly, hope started to crack. You didn't stop believing in God. You just stopped believing He'd move for you. Because how many times can you ask without an answer? How long can you hold on when nothing changes? You tell yourself, keep the faith, but the faith feels tired, thin, like a thread you're barely holding. And maybe no one knows. Maybe you still show up, still smile, but deep down, prayer feels like shouting into a void. You wonder if God's even listening, or if you've done something wrong. But what if unanswered prayer isn't rejection? What if it's something else, something deeper, a silence that's forming you, not forsaking you? Maybe the hardest part isn't the silence. It's what the silence starts to say. God's not listening. Your faith isn't strong enough. You're being ignored. The enemy doesn't just want to steal your voice. He wants to twist the silence into shame. But hear this. Unanswered prayer isn't proof that God has left. It's a space where trust is forged. Not blind trust. Surrendered trust. The kind that says, I don't understand, but I'm still here. God doesn't need your strength. He honors your honesty. The sighs, the tears, the prayers that sound more like breaking than believing. Maybe you're not being ignored. Maybe you're being drawn deeper into a kind of faith that doesn't demand answers, just presence. The kind of faith that says, even if you don't move the mountain, I'll stay at your feet. That's not failure, that's intimacy. You start to wonder if prayer even matters, if it's just spiritual noise. You've prayed the same thing over and over, and nothing's shifted. So you stop expecting, stop asking, not because you don't believe God exists, but because you're not sure He'll show up for you. That's the kind of doubt no one talks about. Quiet, heavy, slow. But God sees it, and He doesn't flinch. He's not threatened by your exhaustion. He draws near to it. Maybe prayer isn't working the way you want, but that doesn't mean it's wasted. Sometimes prayer isn't about changing things. It's about changing you, softening your heart, unraveling pride, building trust, not transaction. Maybe your prayers are doing more than you know, not in the world around you, but in the world within you. The silence isn't killing your faith. It's testing it, strengthening it, and it still counts. What if prayer isn't a magic formula, but a meeting place? Not where you get what you want, but where you get God. Because sometimes the breakthrough isn't outside of you, it's inside. Maybe the delay is mercy. Maybe the silence is surgery, cutting away your need for control, your obsession with outcomes, your belief that faith is only real when it works fast. But real faith waits. Real faith wrestles. And God doesn't leave you in that wrestle. He enters it. He sits in the stillness with you. He listens to the prayers you can't even finish. He hears the questions behind your words. And He stays, not to fix everything in a moment, but to hold you in it. Sometimes the miracle isn't that God answers immediately. It's that you keep showing up, even when He doesn't. That kind of prayer, it shifts heaven, even when earth stays still. Maybe you've been taught that prayer is about results. Ask, believe, receive. But what if prayer is more about relationship than results? What if God is more interested in your heart than your timeline? Because when nothing changes, that's when your motives get exposed. Are you here for what He gives, or for who He is? Sometimes silence is God's way of showing us that He's not a formula. He's a Father. And He wants more than transaction. He wants trust. The kind of trust that stays, even when you don't understand, even when the answer is still no, even when it feels like the sky is closed. Prayer was never about control. It's always been about surrender. And sometimes, the most powerful prayer isn't, "God, change this." It's, "God, change me." That prayer doesn't always move mountains, but it always moves heaven. You think prayer isn't working because nothing is changing. But what if it is? Just not the way you expected. What if the change is happening slowly, silently, inside you? Prayer doesn't always fix the storm. Sometimes it calms the storm inside you. The shift might not be in your situation, but in your soul. You're learning to wait without answers, to trust without signs, to show up without feeling a thing, and still call it worship. That's faith. Not fireworks, not instant results, just faith that endures, the kind that heaven celebrates, the kind that hell fears. God sees you, on the floor, in the dark, whispering prayers that feel like echoes, and He doesn't call you weak, He calls you faithful. You're not forgotten. You're being formed, not around the miracle, but inside the mystery. You've measured prayer by results, but heaven measures it by relationship. Every time you whispered, "God, are you there?" He heard. Every tear you didn't have words for, He caught. You think silence means absence, but often it means closeness. Because when God is quiet, He's not withdrawing, He's teaching, training your heart to stay steady when the feelings fade. Because faith isn't built on emotions, it's built on endurance. And maybe what God is doing in the silence is deeper than what you prayed for. You asked for relief, He's building resilience. You asked for answers, He's giving you Himself. You asked for change, He's changing you. That's why prayer still matters. Not because it fixes life, but because it forms your soul. Keep praying. Not because it's working, but because He's still worthy. Maybe prayer isn't working the way you hoped, but maybe it's working in ways you can't yet see. In the stillness, in the surrender, in the quiet strength that grows when nothing else moves. God is not ignoring you. He's not disappointed in your tired faith. He's holding it, treasuring it, honoring it. Because prayer isn't about getting things. It's about getting close. And even now, in your confusion, your silence, your near giving up, He's close. So don't stop, even if your words feel weak, even if your heart feels numb, even if all you can say is, "God, I'm still here." That's enough. That's powerful. That's faith. Have you ever felt like prayer didn't work, but later realized God was working through the silence all along?